thing that was quite new with working with Nick was the extreme use of color. He loves color, so he wanted a lot of it. It was a great experience for me to be challenged and to be given the freedom to go like crazy with the color.
God, I love this color on me.
Because we shot chronologically, that was day 2 of the shoot. It's only when you start working with the tools that you see, okay, the camera likes this, it doesn't like this. I see this in this way through my eye, but the camera sees it different, you know, like all these things that happen with color. It was quite challenging because it was one day to do that whole scene with a lot of characters, covering in all angles, and there was mirrors everywhere. And that was actually not LED technology. We were using the practical lights of that bathroom, which we just gel with the peacock blue. And then above, I think it was Kinoflows with the magenta filter. You know, because we shot chronologically, we had that scene and then all the stuff in the club. And that location was our biggest location. We had to light like the whole party, and there was these long shots of them walking. Then I needed the light to move and fluctuate and be more like an acid trip and more Alice in Wonderland. So I had everything. I had light panels, I had Kinoflows with gels, I had these typical movers that you use in concerts, the Sputniks. So everything that we could find that was changing color and that you could control and play with in the shot, we had it all there. I remember there's a moment where Jenna Malone is looking at herself in the mirror and she's like gone crazy and she's like drawing this face and she does the eyes and then she does this. And so Nick said like, can you do something crazy when she does the circle? So I put a Sputnik light, and so she was lit with this very natural white light that was kind of coming from a window. But I did it with Sputnik, so as she was doing this, then I dimmed and changed the light and made it red. By the time she closes the circle, everything is red. But that's like one of the few moments where I did Jane with the lights. Also when we had the Japanese bondage art, and the woman is elevating and we have these strobe lights, we also changed the strobe from red to white. But most of the time I think it was just about like choosing colors and mixing colors, but the light wasn't changing so much. That was just HMIs because we had a lot of light in that office. The windows are like whole walls made of glass, so it's a lot of natural light that is coming in. So we have to give the girls a lot of light in order to have exposure and see the outside of the windows at the same time. So we had two 18Ks, which was again like bounce, into a white bounce and then filter with diffusion. In Neon Demon, I found a lot of techniques and things about, how to flare and how to flash the film and how to bring color all the time, even in more subliminal ways. Like, for example, in Gloria, I use all the same tools, but it's a lot more subtle. So instead of having a red flare, you have a very earthy, ambery flare that you don't even know it's there, but it's giving the image this romantic, vintagey, subliminal feel. So I'm using the same stuff, but instead of painting like this, like crazy with color, I'm just going, nobody's gonna realize that I'm putting this green. As she goes to Vegas, John Turturro abandons her and she gets drunk and it's like all kind of trashy. We call it the hangover filter. So all the shadows always have this kind of greenish, dirty feel. It's very subtle, but those are like all tools that I started to develop at Neon Demon. Then I continued to develop with Nick for 2 years doing commercials where we were always allowed to do whatever we wanted and go crazy. And then when I need to turn them down to 10% and use them in homeopathic doses, I can do that as well. But now are definitely part of my kit. What happened now, which is great with the technology, is that you have the LEDs, but you also have wireless. They're great because they're very easy tools to put very quickly in places. And you put a transmitter and a receiver, and then you have like a DMX board by your monitor, and you can DJ during a shot. And you can change the exposure, the color, and everything. So I've been doing a lot of that. Sometimes in a much more like punk rock approach, if the project allows it. Sometimes in a subtle way as a way of adjusting. For example, in Honey Boy, we had a very high degree of improvisation, because even if it was narrative fiction film, we were working with a kid that was playing Shia LaBeouf when he was a kid. Shia was playing, his father.
I want to make a movie about you.
Well, make me look good, honey boy.
We were enacting his real life experiences when he was a kid, and that was very challenging for him, especially for all the actors, but for him because he was in the skin of his father that was quite abusive to him verbally when he was a kid. There was a lot of kind of psychodrama in it, and a lot of, we're not really gonna rehearse so much, we know what's the scene, they know their text, they're amazing actors, they're just gonna come in and do it, and we're gonna film 1 or 2 takes and capture that aliveness.
Hey, thank you for that. That was really amazing. I felt like a demon moved out. That was powerful.
Are you acting right now?
We all are, all the time.
Do you know I'm doing you a favor?
You're doing me a favor?
By paying you to be my chaperone.
Wow.
Who else is gonna give a
You're
felon
doing me a
a
favor?
job? I'm not stupid.
So that required a very flexible filming style. So we had Har'el, and we were just like flowing and dancing with the actors. I wanted to give them the freedom to move around and do whatever they felt, and if they wanted to go out or in or change, where they're going and what they're doing. So not tell them you have to sit in this part of the room and you have to be there because that's where you have the good light and the lighting is good. I want them to be free to move around everywhere, but I also didn't want it all to look flat, like lit for 360, because it's an emotional movie and the light needs to be serving that and needs to be special and dark and be in the right place, not all over. So what I had to do was to distribute the few lights that I had and think about different possibilities, different scenarios. Is Shia gonna end up by the door? Is he gonna sit down in the bed? Like, where is he gonna be? Okay, if he's there, I would like that to be the key. I would like that to be the backlight, and this would be dark. But if he ends up there, then I do need light in this direction because he's gonna need it. So what I did was I positioned strategically different lights, and I had everything wireless, and I have a DMX board. So if they would do a rehearsal or just like, let's see the space, where are we gonna do it, I would be there, I would be observing, and I would be deciding, okay, I think it's gonna be by the door, this is the key light, this one goes off, this one goes red, this one goes 50%. And sometimes I would do that during the first take, or take a gamble, then we do the first take, he's ended up in the other place, okay, next one I'll do it in a different way. That allowed us to be very non-invasive, which was essential on this movie because the actors really needed to have that space. Once they were on set, it was very emotional material, so they couldn't be like, okay, take 2, let's wait, now my gaffer needs to come and change a flag. Like, it was like nobody coming in to do adjustments, so the only thing I could do would be like, in the monitor with my DMX and DJ from there. So it was amazing to have this technology. Without LED and without wireless, it would have been a totally different movie. I would have had to really light it a lot brighter and a lot softer so that you would be able to see the eyes wherever they go, because you need to see the eyes to get in the soul of the actors. But I wouldn't have been able to have the contrast and the nuances that we have now in the movie, which really contribute, of course, to the emotions. That's my job, right?